Welcome to the My Creative Days podcast, where we will talk about all things DIY, home decor, decorating tips, and creating a beautiful home on a budget. I am hoping our time together will spark a creative idea, help you plan your next DIY, or inspire you to finally tackle that project you keep putting off. Grab your favorite cup of motivation and let's chat. Hello and welcome back to the podcast. Today I'm going to be talking about smart furniture flipping success through smart goal setting. And I want to start off this podcast with just this little, I'm calling it a commercial, but it's not really. But I want to let you know that we are now offering all of our podcast listeners $100 off my Furniture Flipping Academy. I get a lot of responses and people reaching out from the podcast about furniture flipping. So I wanted to offer an exclusive code just for the podcast listeners. So if you use the code podcast at checkout, you will save $100. Now, I will leave a link to the podcast or to the Furniture Flipping Academy and a sneak peek link in the show notes. And we are not offering this discount to anywhere else. We are not advertising this anywhere else. This is just for podcast listeners. So I just like to start off the podcast with that, especially when I'm talking about furniture flipping, just in case you're interested to check it out a little bit more. Would love to see you inside and to help you on your journey. So today, like I said, I'm talking about furniture flipping success through smart goal setting. And this can be applied to a lot of your goals in your life in general. But it's kind of tailored to furniture flippers who I come up with some of these, topics through feedback from you guys, people in the academy, and just things that I see people struggling with or I get asked a lot about. So this is something that will make a huge difference. And they're just some tips that you definitely need to be thinking about in your furniture flipping journey. So let's just get started. Number one, make sure that you are defining your long-term vision. So before getting into the nitty-gritty of your furniture flipping journey, take a minute and envision your long-term goals. Dream a little bit. Like, what do you see your business doing in 1 year, 3 years, or even 5 years? Beyond 5 years, it's just things are going to change over time. And these long-term visions and like goals and where you see your business going, that's going to change too. So I say beyond 5 years, that's just kind of pushing it a little bit. If you can kind of envision where you want to be in 1, 3, and 5, that's a great place to start. And do know there's going to be some flexibility in that because it will change as your business evolves, as new things, opportunities come about. Those visions may change, and that's okay. That's okay. Number 2, set specific and measurable objectives. So this is, like I said, you can apply these to any goal or, long-term thing that vision that you have for yourself. You want to lose weight. You want to save more money. Well, you need to set specific and measurable objectives to obtain those goals. And so for your furniture flipping business, I hear people saying, well, I want to make a side income. Well, what does a side income look for you? Because it's going to be different from me than as somebody else. And your side income is going to look totally different from everybody else. So what is that side income? You want to start paying for soccer lessons for your son or daughter. Okay, so how much is soccer lessons? What months do you need to pay for soccer lessons? Okay, so now you've got 4 months to get that amount of money. So now we're going to break it down into, measurable, easier, small, like little bite-sized chunks. I need to make $150 with my furniture flips over every month for the next 5 months. And then I've got soccer paid for, whatever it is. Like you definitely need to, you need to keep breaking down the layers and kind of going backwards and just breaking it down into those small chunks so that it's totally measurable. It's very specific and there's like no wiggle room or there's no like, well, I set a side income and this is a little more than a side income. Like, no, that's not going to work. It's just like with, I want to lose weight this year. I mean, that's great, but how much weight do you want to lose? So, then break that down into months, into weeks, like you just need to break it down into smaller chunks. So like I said, I want to make more money. is not a measurable or specific goal. So, you can even say things like, I want to increase furniture sales by 30% within 6 months. But I say to even go, more into like dive deeper into, I need to make this amount of money. I have this many, months to do it. So how much does that mean I need to make each month? You know what I mean? Just down into specific things that you can see each month. Make your goals attainable. Dreaming big is so important. And everybody should be doing that. But you need to set attainable goals so that you're not frustrated and then you lose motivation, right? So make sure that you understand your current resources, your current skills, the market, just to make sure that your goals are realistic with all of that and are lined up well. Just aim for a healthy balance between ambition and achievability. Next, break down goals into actionable steps. So again, when you think about, I need to lose all this weight over the next year, that looks overwhelming. When you say, I need to organize this entire house, that is overwhelming. I mean, even if for some people, like my dad, he always wanted help organizing the garage. And so for me, it was like, okay, let's get it done. But for him, it was so overwhelming that he would just, every time we would do it, he would veer off into these, oh, let me go look over at this, box of screws and let me just kind of fumble with that. And you know what I mean? Because he was trying to block out, it was just so overwhelming. So you need to break down each goal into actionable steps that will make it more manageable and not so overwhelming, right? So you want to create a detailed plan that outlines the tasks required to achieve each goal. If your goal is to expand your customer base, your action steps could be, maybe you're going to launch a social media account. Maybe you're going to launch a marketing campaign. Maybe you're going to set up a booth, somewhere. Maybe you're going to collaborate with realtors or interior designers, and your pieces are going to be showcased in staged homes. Like, there's so many different ways that you can go about whatever your goals are, that it's good to break them down so they're just not so overwhelming. I kind of already talked about this because I get excited with these topics. Set time-bound deadlines, right? So it's going to add a sense of urgency. So by March 1st, I need to have 3 pieces sold, for such and such an amount. I need to have my I need to have an Instagram account for my business set up by April 30th, whatever it is. You give yourself a deadline because it's going to prevent procrastination, right? And it's going to help you stay on track. If you know there's a deadline, it makes you want to get it done, right? Like, there is a deadline. Stick to your deadline. You owe it to yourself. You're only letting yourself down. You owe it to yourself to keep those deadlines, right? But again, be realistic with your time frames, right? Allow a little room for unexpected challenges, especially like if you're somebody like me and, it's the tech side of things. And let's just say you're trying to set up a whole website by yourself. I've done that and I did it wrong in all the wrong ways, but I actually got it done. But, like that, I'm going to need some time, right? Like, that's like a technical thing that I know I'm going to need some time. Or I'm going to need to hire help, or I'm going to need to get a mentor, or I'm going to, you know what I mean? Whatever it is. But like, use your calendars, whatever you do, if you write in a calendar, if you use apps, if you use your phone, whatever, project management software, whatever it is, organize your tasks and your deadlines all on that so that you keep accountable for what you have set. Next, track and review your progress. So this is so huge in your furniture flipping business. Regularly monitor your progress just toward achieving those goals. So inside the academy, I teach, it's not just about, applying paint to furniture, because I'm trying to teach you how to set up a business as well. So it's got all the makeovers and all the paint and all of that, but that there's a whole business side too that I'm trying to teach you and help you along with. So you definitely, in business, no matter what business you are in, you need to track and review. Just keep detailed records of sales, expenses, and, other whatever relative metrics you have. Analyze your data, identify, patterns, strengths, problems, things you need to change, things you need to improve. Just constantly be in the habit of doing that. The next one is so good, again, with anything. Stay flexible and adapt. But I think when people hear that, they're like, but stay rigid too, right? But just know that you will, like I said in the beginning, when you're doing your 1, 3, and 5 year goals, those things are going to change, right? So you do need to be flexible with that, but don't be flexible with your time frames, with your, measurable things, with the actions of what you're doing. Does that make sense? Like, oh, I don't need to do it today. Or, oh, I still have 4 more days until I actually have it due, or I have it in the calendar that I wanted to be done. So no, like still stick to those, but yet know that, trends, customer preferences, external factors like that, those things are going to change. And so you definitely need to adapt and be flexible with those. And again, celebrate milestones and successes. This is one of my favorite things about the Furniture Flipping Academy, because you are immersed into a community of like-minded people on the same journey with you. And so we want to celebrate every milestone and every success. And every success doesn't look like you made $10,000 this month. Like, we had somebody start their YouTube channel. She was super excited about that, and she shouted it out in the group. We had somebody who sold their first piece, somebody who had their first custom piece. It's just like all of those little milestones and successes, they need to be celebrated. And when you have a tribe of people behind you, like a group of people that know what you're going through, it just gives you all the momentum and all the support you need. It's amazing. We've had people, share a positive customer feedback. Maybe it's a photo of their piece in the room that it's in, or it literally is one of my favorite parts of the Furniture Flipping Academy because it's such an important part that I think so many people don't do. And I am guilty of it. It's like you set all these goals and then you reach the goal and then you're on to the next. Oh, okay, I did that. Okay, now I got to do. No, I constantly battle with this. No, I need to stop. Get excited that I did that. Get excited that it worked. Get excited that, whatever it is. Like, let's celebrate that just give it a minute. Some things will take half a day you can celebrate, or you know what I mean? Like, every milestone's going to look different and every success is going to look different, but celebrate it. Don't skip that part. Those are the only things I was going to share. It's super important to have smart goal setting in, like I said, it can be in all aspects of your life, but in your furniture flipping journey and to have it be successful, it's just so, so, so important. So as I said, check the show notes for the links and the coupon code podcast will save you $100 for the Furniture Flipping Academy. If you found this podcast helpful, I would love if you shared it. I always appreciate it when you share the podcast. If you have certain topics that you would like me to cover, please reach out to me through email at lindsay@mycreativedays.com or on Instagram at mycreativedays. All of your feedback, all of your suggestions are super helpful to me. I want to make sure that I'm producing the content that you find helpful and that you need. So all your messages are super helpful. So until next time, I hope you have a great day, and I will talk to you very soon. Hello, friends. Thank you so much for listening to the podcast. I'm grateful that you tune in every week and that you share the show with your family and friends. I love having creative chit chats with you, and my hope is that this podcast will inspire you to try a new project, start a DIY that you've been putting off, and decorate your home exactly how you want it. There are a few ways you can help us with the podcast. Follow the podcast so you don't miss an episode. And if you could take a few minutes to leave the podcast a review, that would help us so, so much. Again, thank you for being here, and I look forward to our chat.